Modern animism makes the oldest spiritual belief easy for today's seekers to understand, practice, and live. Stay tuned and grow with us. Welcome to the Modern Animism podcast, where ancient wisdom meets modern animism and the sacred lives in everything. In today's episode, we're diving into the mystical world of feline connection with the incredible Sylvie Sterling, a cat whisperer, intuitive guide, and soul communicator. Sylvie shares her extraordinary journey of telepathic communication with cats and how these mysterious companions just aren't pets, but powerful spiritual allies and guides. We explore how cats reflect our energy, embody sacred archetypes, and even share deep soul contracts with us. Sylvie opens up about starseeds, the cosmic ties between cats and higher consciousness, and how following your joy can align you with your true path, whether you're human, feline, or somewhere in between. If you've ever felt a cat look into your soul or wondered if they're here to teach you something, this episode will expand your understanding of what it means to live in conscious relationship with the more than human world. Before we get into the mystical world of psychic cats, let's acknowledge the all it is. I see and acknowledge the element of earth, and thank you for the food that sustains our bodies, our homes, and all the beautiful, sensuous things that give us pleasure. Acknowledge and thank the element of air, and thank you for bringing us the whispers from the other world that assures us of the continuing love from our deceased family members and ancestors. Thank you. Acknowledge and thank the element of fire, and thank you for the transformative and destructive powers that allow things to come and go in the right time. Thank you. Acknowledge and thank the element of water, and thank you for cleansing, balancing, and nourishing ways that keep things from being. For your cleansing, balancing, and nourishing ways that keep things from becoming stagnant and support our growth. Thank you. I thank the human, plant, animal, and mineral brothers and ancestors who make this lifetime, who share this lifetime with us and make it happen and worthwhile. I appreciate your support and presence. Thank you. And as always, I thank our listeners for being a part of this journey with me and for your questions and support. If you'd like to have a more connected experience, consider joining my free group and let's chat. The link's in the show notes. And now let's get back to our cosmic cat whisperer, Sylvie Sterling. Sylvie, you're the first cat whisperer that I've ever met. So can you tell us what a cat whisperer is and how did you become one?
Hello. Sure. So where do we start? As a cat whisperer, I talk to cats, obviously. That's number one. I connect to cats telepathically and I ask them questions. I find out about their life. I find out about what they want to tell their humans. And basically, I became an ambassador for cats because I can now tell people what cats want, need, what their messages for the humans are, and how they have this deep soul connection with us.
And is this more like a pet to caretaker type of thing, or is it different than that?
It is. It's very comprehensive. I do help people. I do work with clients. People call me or ask me to help them with their cat because their cat has certain behaviors and they don't understand why the cat does these behaviors. So they come to me for help and I connect with their cat and then I tell them why their cat does what they do and I help them have a happy cat again. And by shedding light on the cat's behavior, that is when their behavior changes. And I give them also practical recommendations. So it's the whole package. They come to me with problems. I help them understand their cat's messages. I help them overcome the problems. And I also work with the humans, actually. I do a lot of healing work with the humans because a lot of times, or let's say, I would say 90% of the time, the cat's behavior has to do with the humans.
Right.
And I started out wanting to work with cats. I worked with humans all my life, right? I had a regular desk job. I worked in marketing, so I worked with humans for 20 plus years. And then I set out on the second career path, and I really wanted to work with the cats. I wanted to be around cats, work with cats. But then it turned out that the cats were pointing at their humans. So every time a cat has a problem or the person thinks their cat has a problem, the cat's pointing back at their humans. They're saying, it's my human who's not happy. It's my human who's restless. It's my human who's not meowing, but walking around restlessly. It's my human who thinks there's something wrong in their life. It's my human who's not aligned. So I found myself working with the humans as much with the cats, actually, because it's a team effort. I would
Mhm.
say humans and cats are a team. And you have to work with both so they both have a happy life and they both, can go forward with, I would say, live a happy, purposeful life together with their cat companions.
And how did you were you
Were you
always
always
telepathic? Is this something that's just always been part of your life?
I think I always was, but I wasn't really aware of it. Because when I grew up in the 70s and nobody really talked about that kind of stuff back then, right? We were just, we just went about our normal lives and nobody talked about telepathic communication or animal communication, that kind of stuff. So I always had a very, very good connection with my pets. I grew up with cats and with dogs. And I always felt they were my happy place. I always felt they are the only ones who got me. They are the only ones who understood me. I've connected with them better than I connected with humans at times, but I know now why, because I was supposed to work with the animals. So I needed to have that deep connection and sometimes feel disconnected from the humans. So I always had a connection, but I was not always talking to them the way I do now. That came way later. That came about 10 years ago when I started to open up my clear senses and the cat started to talk to me. So I've been doing this work, let's say professionally, for about 10 years now, but I always had a very, very deep connection with the cats.
Okay. What was the event that opened you up to it? If you don't mind sharing.
Sure. Well, first I made the decision to become a cat psychologist, a behaviorist, right? So I went back to school kind of, and I did a whole certification course for feline behavior, as a cat behaviorist. And then, but I soon realized that there wasn't enough. That was not the truth about cats. There was just so much missing from what book lore and scientists tell you about cats, right? So I just kept looking and searching for answers. And then I started to do energy healing or energy healing found me. So I started to do that with the cats and that made the connection with the cats more profound. I felt I could go deeper just through the energy healing, feeling into their field, right? And into their body. And then I was thinking about taking an animal communication class. But before that, I actually had a very profound experience with my sister-in-law's cat who channeled a message for me. And that was kind of my turnaround moment or my defining moment because I didn't really know much about these things. And I visited my sister-in-law and she's very spiritual. So I was bathing in her spiritual energies. She's been doing spiritual stuff for about 30 years. And she has a cat. And I was with them for a couple of days. And then as I was leaving, I was packing my bags and the cat jumped up on my suitcase and her cat just sat there and you know how cats can stare, right? And the cat just kept looking at me and staring at me. And first I thought it was so cute. She's helping me pack, right? But she just kept staring at me. And I said, I think there's something going on. I think this cat wants to say something. So I didn't really know animal communication at the time, but I just basically sat down and said, okay, I got to listen in, whatever this is that wants to come through this cat. And I sat down, I closed my eyes and I kind of did a little meditation and I tuned in and the cat channeled a message from my soul family, from my star family. And they were introducing themselves to me and they said, I'm a starseed here on Earth. So I'm not really from here, which explains why I always felt so different. And they said, I'm here to work with the cats, to be an ambassador for cats and to help people understand how cats are here with a very important purpose. They're here to help us with our purpose. And they're here as spiritual guides. And this message just left me very much in awe. I came out and I said, whoa, I didn't really expect that. And I went to the computer and I Googled all that, Starseed and whatnot and all that stuff. And I took that as my assignment. And then going forward, I dove into animal communication. I took proper classes to learn techniques. But after that, all my clairsenses, they just open up within a couple of weeks. And my clairaudience and clairsentience and claircognizance and my intuition, everything just really opened up very fast. And I started to talk to as many cats as I could. I talked to neighbors' cats and friends' cats and sisters' cats and everybody's cats just to clarify, is this what I received there? Is this true? And all the cats basically confirm that. They say, yes, we have a purpose. Yes, we have a task. Yes, we are here for our humans. And people don't know that we have a task. And it just confirmed everything that came through in the channeling. And that's how I started to teach and talk about the cats having a purpose. And the cat's doing something for us. They're our guides. They are our healers. They are energy workers. There are our muses. There are mirrors. They do all these different things for us, but people don't know what their cat does for them. And after that channeling is basically, I just know that that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to teach people that cats have a purpose.
So, is it that cats have a purpose, or all animals have a purpose, or cats special in some way?
Well, of course, cats are special, but you're right. I'm a cat whisperer. I'm a cat person. Cats are my people, so I'm always going to say they're special. Well, the truth is, every animal is special in their own way. But the ones that, and every animal has a purpose. I do speak with other animals too by now. I mean, if a bird comes flying through, or if a frog comes hopping through my yard, I actually start to talk to the frog and ask, do you need anything? So I do talk to other animals, and I always ask them, what is your purpose? And the animals in the wild, they have a general purpose. I talked to a frog recently because he kept hopping through my yard, and I said, it's not safe here. My cats are trying to catch you, right? Please stay away from here. And the frog said, it's not safe anywhere. It doesn't matter. So the frogs, I said, what's your purpose? And he said his purpose is to be part of the ecosystem. Or if you ask other animals in the wild, they have a purpose in the ecosystem, right? In nature. They are here to control that population, or they are here to do something. But the pets that live with us, I would say the dogs, the cats, the horses, their purpose revolves around us humans, which is really beautiful. And the cat purposes are slightly different from the dog purposes. But the dogs are usually more known to have a purpose, right? Because people get a dog in order to, he's supposed to protect the house. He's supposed to guard the family. He's supposed to, get a lazy person to get to walk every day or go jogging or be a friend or something. So people get a dog with a purpose in mind. Or people have a horse with a purpose in mind. They want to ride the horse. They want to spend time in nature. They want to do, agility training or something, take part in tournaments. So people get a dog or horse with a purpose in mind. But cats are not known to have a purpose. A lot of people say that they just eat and sleep and do nothing, right? They don't even like their owners, right? That's what people say about cats. And that is why it's so important to teach people that cats have a purpose and they are special, because they're here just for us. They have their individual purposes with us. Everybody's different. Some cats are healers. Some cats are teachers. Some cats are muses. They inspire us to live our best life. Some cats are energy workers. They work with us every day. But as a whole, the cats as a whole, their purpose is actually to enrich our human field with love and joy frequencies.
So, can you
And that
go?
is kind of special to them. They are the ones who are here to enrich us with love and joy frequencies.
So, can you go a little deeper into the 10 cat archetypes?
Sure. So after I worked with so many cats, I would always start to ask about their purpose. And I kind of noticed a pattern, right? That there are certain answers that just kept coming up. So I started to put it together in a book, in a little booklet, ebook, the 10 cat archetypes. And these are the general categories of purposes. So some cats are healers. They actually emit healing frequencies. And those are the cats that may, if you have a cat that lies on you all the time, or lies on a certain body part, or has a very strong purr, or always comes around when you don't feel well, then chances are you have a healer cat. Some cats are our mirrors. They will be our mini-me's. They will kind of reflect back at us what's not working in our lives, right? If some people are hiding from the world, and if you have a mirror cat, they will be hiding all the time. They will be running away when the doorbell rings, which usually mirrors the person who says, who's bothering me now, right? I don't want anybody to come to my home. So there's mirror cats, and they will mirror back to us where we are not aligned, where we maybe don't trust the world, where we maybe don't feel comfortable around people, whatever it is that we have not resolved yet. These are the mirror cats. Then there is energy workers. They will enrich our field with, they will basically be power plants in the background. They cleanse our home energetically. Then there are supporter cats. Those are the ones that are more like dogs. They have these dog-like qualities where they follow you around. They sit around you all the time. They're basically are there all the time for you. They comfort you when you're down, right? These are the supporter cats. Then there's joy bringer cats. They are here too. They are the ones that are very, very funny and very sweet and that are very entertaining. They make you laugh all the time. They're joy bringers. So there's these different categories and these different overarching purposes that cats have with us. And they're slightly different from dogs. Dogs fall in some of these categories too, but some are very, very special to cats, like the muse. Some cats are muses. Those are the ones that are the atypical cat, the ones that are very free-spirited, the ones that do whatever they want, the ones that they inspire us, right? To not follow anybody's lead, to not follow anybody's orders, to live life on our terms. These are the muses. They're really, really very wonderful. They say, look at me. This is how you're supposed to be. You're not supposed to live by these rules or live and die by the rules, right? You're supposed to be you and stand up for yourself.
So, if there are several people in your household, how do you know which person the cat is there to help?
That's a very good question. Some cats are there specifically for one person, and you will know because they always hang around that person or they will do most of their magic around that person. Some cats are there for everyone, like healer cats or energy worker cats. They're usually there for everybody. They heal whoever needs the healing, be that physical healing or emotional healing. Or the energy worker cats, they will cleanse the home, right, for everybody. But then some cats have different purposes with different people. I've seen that too, where some people are, let's say, a supporter for one person and they're always hanging around that person. But then for the other person, there might be, let's say, a healer or an energy worker or something. So some cats have different purposes with different people. It comes down to the individual cat. Just like people, every person is different. Every person has a different purpose, a different job. So it really comes down to the individual cat, how many people they are there for. And then there's some cats, when you have a group of cats, some people have 5, 6, 7 cats. And then there's some cats that are actually there for the group. They're the glue for the group. They are not so much the people cats. They are there to balance in the group, to be there for the other cats. That happens as well.
So, I'm interpreting what you're saying as the cat chooses you. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Have you
Okay.
ever heard stories about people going to a shelter and they didn't really want a cat or something, and then they come back and they bring a dog home, or they want to have a very young kitten, and then they come home with a 10-year-old cat, and they said, I don't know what happened, but this cat just kept rubbing himself against me, and somehow I just had to bring that cat home.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. They choose us. They will show up at our doorstep. They choose us, or they will show you when you go somewhere to pick a cat, they will show you I'm the one to take home.
Yeah. I've definitely had that happen. So, you mentioned
Yeah.
the star seed. Can you tell us about that and how that ties into the cats?
So there's many star seeds here on Earth. The star seeds are the ones that originated, let's say, somewhere else. All the souls come from the same place, the way my guides always show me, or when I go with people into meditations, into past lives. All the souls come from the same place. We all come from source, and really is where you first incarnated into a body, a physical body. That is where you feel you're from. So if you have first incarnated on a different star system, then you feel you are from there. So you're a starseed from, let's say, Lyra or Orion or the Pleiades, because you first incarnated there, and that's where you feel you're from, or that's where you have a lot of traits from. And then there's other people who are earthbound, more earthbound, I would say. It doesn't mean they're any different. It just means that they're their biggest or their first incarnation was here on Earth. And those are the people who feel very much at home here, who feel very much at ease with being a human, with everything that's going on. They feel very bound to here. Whereas the starseeds, I work with many starseeds, with clients and people, and we usually feel that we don't fit in, we're different, we look up to the stars, we're fascinated with Star Trek or Star Wars or anything to do with the stars, we're just fascinated with it. We do stargazing at night, we wonder what's out there. And a lot of times we click better with animals than with people, because deep down we feel we're not human. We don't relate to humans as well as other people. So it's really no better or worse. It's just different.
And which system are you from?
Lyra. I'm from Lyra, where the felines come from, where the feline form originated. That's why I'm so drawn to the felines here on Earth, because I'm basically, when I see myself on a soul level, I'm this lion. I'm this golden, big, big, big lion being, half lion, half human.
And is there a reason that the Lyran starseeds came here?
They were part in seeding Earth, in seeding humanity here, or in putting their DNA into humanity. Humanity is this big melting pot. I wouldn't say experiment, but experience, where many star nations put their DNA into humans, the Pleiadians, the Sirians, the Lyrans, and many, many more, many others, Arcturians, and basically gave their traits and their DNA into the human race. And we're kind of a melting pot, or we kind of an experience of bringing everything together and bridging the factions and bringing out the best of all worlds into humanity. And the Lyrans were just part of that DNA pool that was put into humans.
So, if somebody feels that they're a star seed, so I imagine most people wake up and they think, I'm a human, and that's how you go about your life. And then something happens, and like you had this experience where, like, oh my God, I'm a Lyran star seed. How do you go from that to figuring out what you're here for and which system you belong to?
So most people start to research, they start to Google, and they start to look this stuff up, right? And thankfully, there's so much information out there now these days about Arcturians and Pleiadians and Sirians and about all the other star systems. So most people will start to Google. Some people will be told in that first encounter. I was told that we are the Lyrans. You are a Lyran starseed, and I saw them as these lion beings, right? These half human, half lions. So I was told specifically, you are a Lyran starseed. We are your Lyran star family. We are the lion beings. Actually, they said lion beings. And I never heard of that before. So I was very surprised. It resonated very deeply with me. That's the other thing. If it resonates deeply with you, I just knew that this was right. It sounded crazy at the time, but I just knew it was right. And then after the channeling, when I came back into the here and now, I went to the computer. I started to Google. I said, lion beings, never heard of it. And I Googled it and I said, oh my God, thank God people are talking about this. I'm not crazy, right? Because at first you think this is kind of crazy, these lion beings talking to me. But then I Googled it and I found validation. I said, oh my God, this is true. People are actually talking about this. I'm not the only one. And I think that's how it is for most people. You will start to Google it. You will do your research. You will find people like me. I specifically wake up Lyran or Syrian, the feline starseeds, the feline races. But other people will find the Arcturians or the Pleiadians or other channelers, other way showers, coaches, spiritual teachers. So this is usually how people learn. And then you can learn to talk to them again, to call them in, just like you call your spirit guides. You can call your star family in, and you can ask about your mission. So it's a several step process, I would say.
Okay. It's kind of crazy that you can find everything on Google, even
Yeah,
this.
even that was 10 years ago, which was kind of early.
So are
Yeah.
cats starseed too, or are they earthbound?
Yes, there are. Many cats are starseeds. Some are earthbound. I found the cats I work with are more starseeds than earthbound, but there's both. So when some cats are very earthbound, and those are the ones that are more, let's say, typical cat-like, that eat and sleep and are very, very, let's say, very, very cat-like, right? And then there's others that are very etheric. And some people say, I can swear my cat, when my cat looks at me, there's a big soul behind this cat. There's an old soul behind this cat, right? Some cats just have this old soul air about them. And those are usually the star seeds. Those are the ones that are actually very wise. They traveled far. They came here to help us humans to wake up. They usually come to bring our star family through. So if you have a Syrian cat, for instance, I have 3 cats, and one of my cats is a Syrian starseed. So she brings the Syrian energies through to me because there was a lot of feline races on Sirius. And then my other 2 cats are Lyrans, like me, and they bring the Lyran energy in. And I worked with people whose cat were Pleiadians, and they would bring the Pleiadian star families come through, or they would attune the person to the Pleiadian energies so that they can start to connect to their Pleiadian star family, or Arcturians, or others, right? So there's many cats that are star seeds. There's some cats that are earth seeds, but usually the people who are star seeds, they usually have at least one star seed cat that brings in the energies, that attunes them, and opens them even up to that whole possibility out there, to that realm.
How common is it to be a starseed?
It's really hard to say. I don't have numbers. I don't like to, put half truth out there. The fact is that most people who find me are star seeds. I would say 90% of people who find me are star seeds, if not 100. But then it's like attracts like, right? I mean, they
Sure.
see my work. I very clearly say now I'm a star seed. So people who say, I have no idea what I am, but it resonates with me, they will come look me up. In terms of numbers, I wouldn't dare to say is it 30% people are starseeds, 40%, but it's a lot. I would say it's a lot more than people think.
Okay. Okay. I really love that you had the courage to eventually get back to what you love, cats, and center your life around that. Everybody's got to eat. So I think every job's a noble job. But for someone who wants to go out on a limb and give their spiritual calling more attention, what advice would you give them?
I would say follow your passion. Find out what your purpose is or what your soul mission is. I would say follow it, follow your passion. It's usually a passion. It's usually something that you've already done as a child. I recently was guided into this, picture yourself as a 5-year-old child before you went to school, before the programming happened, 4 or 5 years old. How were you as a child? And I just love to be around cats and dogs. And some children are right there. They love to sing and dance. Some children like to be with other children in communities. Some children like to explore things or find out how things work or build things with their hand, right? That is usually your soul mission. That's what you're here for. And we tend to forget that. I mean, I went to school. I went into a 20-year career in the movie industry, which was nice at the time. But I just had this calling after 20 years in the movie industry, which is a dream job. I mean, I'm so lucky I got to work in the movie industry for 20 years. It was a dream job. But I had this calling. You need to do something more meaningful. And I followed the calling. And for me, it was kind of cold turkey because I kind of cold turkey jumped into this new life. And I was struggling in the beginning because it was not everything roses. I'm not going to say that once you follow your passion, it's all going to be roses. And it's all some people, I see some spiritual teachers saying that once you follow your passion, you follow your purpose, everything's falling in line and everything's going to align for you. It was not that way for me. I did struggle in the beginning financially or to find my footing, but it was worth it. I stuck with it. It was worth it. I had to shed a lot of old programming. Like, what will people think when I first started? I mean, I got into this as a cat psychologist, right? I have a degree, I have a certificate, I'm going to help people with their cat behavior. And then this whole spiritual thing kind of caught me by surprise. And then I found the cats telling me cats told me my person has to wake up. They're a starseed. They're not doing what they're supposed to do, right? So I kind of went along as it presented itself to me. 10 years later, I do not regret a thing. This is my living, my purpose, my calling. I do this 100%. I don't have a plan B. I don't want to do anything else. But, and now going back to your question, I do not recommend jumping head over heels into a new job just because you think this is your calling. I would say ease into it. For some people, it works to jump head over heels like I did. I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to be a cat whisperer now, right? But it can be that way, but you can ease into it. And your purpose is not your job necessarily.
Yes.
For me, it is.
Yes.
For other people, their purpose is not their job. For other people, their purpose is to help out in the community. And you can do that in your spare time. You don't have to quit your job to help out your community. For some people, it's to be an artist. You don't have to quit your job to do your art, right? You can do it on the side. So I always encourage people, follow your passion, follow your purpose. It's time. We're all called upon to follow our purpose, but do not get your purpose confused with your job. It can be a job. It can become your job over time. For some people, they go cold turkey, but I don't recommend it. So just follow your passion, follow your purpose, start small, and then just build it up from there.
And do you help people to become cat whisperers, or do you have any courses for
Yes,
people? Can you tell us about
yes.
that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have courses, different layers. I have a very simple course called Understand Your Cat. It's kind of my basic course where I talk about what your cat's behavior means and how you can have a happy cat and what it has to do with you, if it has to do with you. So very small, Understand Your Cat. Then I have more spiritual courses, as in Finding Your Purpose, or your Ascension Guide, where I guide you all through. Contact your star family, find out what your purpose is. I have exercises and everything. So let's say it's a Find Your Purpose course that I have currently. And then I actually have a course where I teach people to become a cat whisperer, where I teach healing, communication, working with people and clients, exactly what I do. So yes, absolutely. I have courses on all different levels.
Okay. And do you have any words for people who don't have cats?
You're missing out on something if you don't have cats. But I also know that if you're supposed to have a cat, the cat will show up in your life somehow. I just know that if you're supposed to have a cat, the cat will show up. And I have a lot of people who say, I never had cats. I never thought I would have cats. I never even liked cats. And then this cat showed up at their doorstep. Or the neighbor's cat would come hanging out and then stayed more and more. Or they went to, I don't know, to some expo and then there was a cat hanging out and they took the cat home. So the cat will always find you. But if you don't have cats currently, if you're intrigued by this, if you hear this, it resonates, you're intrigued, then open your eyes and your ears and your heart and just see if that cat is waiting somewhere for you. Or, of course, go to a shelter, adopt a cat. But always go with your heart. Don't go with your head. I want one cat or two cats, or it needs to be a white cat or a black cat or a red tabby, or it needs to be male or female. Go with your intuition. Pick the cat that you feel it needs to be this cat. A lot of times it makes no sense, but the cat always knows and will make themselves noticed by you. So yeah, if you don't have a cat yet, but you feel intrigued by this, go look into it. And please, please get a cat or two. There's so many cats that need help in the shelters. You're missing out if you don't have a cat.
Well, thank you, Sylvie, for sharing your cat connection with us. If you're interested in exploring more about cat communication, check out Sylvie's website. It is in the show notes. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channels. I appreciate you, and I'll see you next time. Ciao.